What a beautiful, beautiful moment. What a beautiful, beautiful morning. Everyone, what is going on? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing, getting ready here for our Monday morning live stream, ready to kick this week off. I know it's going to be another week of fire. Tomorrow morning, right after our live stream, we have our training session. We'll talk about that later or tomorrow. We're ready for it. I'm ready for it. I'm super excited to be here with you all. Super excited to take a look at the markets right now and just touch base with y'all. I missed y'all this weekend. I definitely did. All right, it's nice to be back at my desk. It's nice to be at my desk. Do you sense the urgency? Do you sense the urgency in my voice as everyone is once again freaking out as we ride this bull of all bulls? Bitcoin's trading at $57,000. Pretty nice to me. If you just look at the chart over here, it's upwards and to the right. You can see there's a little bit of a consolidation forming over here. Well, that all seems very bullish to me. I could see why people think that this might be exhausted here right now. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I was born and raised in New York. There was a bit of sarcasm in there. All right, everyone, let's take a look. Let's start off with the equity markets. We'll come back to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going nowhere fast right now, looking great. Well, we'll talk about it all. We got a lot to uncover today, a lot of pretty charts to look at, a lot to talk about. We're going to put it all in place and make sure that we all have the clearest clarity we need to continue making sure that we continue not only to be on the right side of the trade, but to be on the right side of each and every move that's worth knowing. All right. Last we left off on Friday morning, I remember the Nasdaq was trading towards the low of the session over here, and I left you all saying I would not be surprised. Now, I'm not calling it out there on you. I'm not like, don't trade off of this, but I would not be surprised if the Nasdaq closed green today. Not only did it close green, but you can see over here the Nasdaq is leading today up 0.75%. S&P 500, the question was, is there a trade entry over here as it's making higher highs on the 8-hour? Not for me yet. I would not. Nasdaq is leading right now. That's good. S&P 500, like I like to go ahead and just, have that little bit of a trend line looking for the pullback over here. Why we might be breaking up on the equity markets, on the indexes, we're looking for breakout retest and then resumption up, that conquering the markets all day long. That's a little bit different on crypto where you could get the breakout and it's usually clean, or I should say often enough clean. You want to take breakouts on crypto, on the indexes, on stocks, on metals, and especially on Forex. You want to wait for that breakout, retest, and resumption. It's too soon, in my opinion, to take a entry here on the S&P 500. Nasdaq too. What's the Nasdaq doing? It held the support over here. Beautiful, right? Why do I say beautiful? There's a lot of, let's say, remember Thursday? Going into Thursday, we were hyper aware of what was going on with the Fed. Actually, we set that up 3 weeks in advance, what was going on with the SLR and the Federal Reserve. And then a week after that, we touched base 2 videos in one day talking about exactly what the situation was, why it was a potential risk to Bitcoin. And then Thursday, we were live on Friday when you all in the morning let me know, well, the Fed has decided not to do anything with the SLR. And in that moment, I found out from all of you what was happening. And I was like, okay, well, I think it's a non-event. And now the market seems to be shaking that off as a non-event. You saw the dollar bid on that news and now coming back off. The dollar, by the way, is unchanged on the day, slightly negative after basically the Turkish central bank blew up again. I mean, to me, that's all signal over here. It might be the dollar that's exhausted at these levels. We're now looking at hedge funds have gone net long the dollar. So what that means for me is absolutely nothing. I'm following price, right? I know that if we get above 92.54, then we're going to see a prolonged move, a little bit of push into this blue zone over here. None of that's happening. The dollar is kind of struggling, and that's that. So there's not much to see or do over there with the dollar. By the way, we're seeing the 10-year come off today with gold and silver under pressure. Let's look at that before we look at Bitcoin, right? All right, so what do we see on that? Long Island, that's right. Long Island, Strong Island represent over here. So what are we looking at on gold under pressure? Remember Friday. This is the last time we touched base. So we got to get above 26.33. You got to retest that, and then on the resumption off, that might be the first possible place to take a long entry. Anthony, if you hear, big shout out. You joined us because we were looking at silver then. It keeps you out a lot of trouble. The resistance held, back off 2%, 2.5% today on silver. You do not take the trade until you get the signal in that period, the end. All right. What about gold under pressure? Why are gold and silver under pressure today with the dollar unchanged and yields down? I don't know. Making an observation, trying to figure that out. Why is gold under pressure? Do you know what happened when as the Turkish lira is failing? The government was basically like, to all the gold jewelry shops, you're going to have to deposit your gold with us. So I guess gold is money after all, but we've never been confused about that over here, have we? Right? So here we go over here. Why is gold and silver under pressure? I don't know. Is this a possible shakeout over here before the move up? That could be very well be happening. Nevertheless, we gave a very clear and long look at the precious metals on Friday, and it's just not the time to enter yet. The first one that might give a signal to enter will be silver, and before we clear above the resistance over there at 26.30, it's just out of play. So that's gold and silver is pretty clear. Equity markets, I like seeing up today. Why? Well, I want to see a healthy equity markets. The healthier the equity markets are, the better I feel about Bitcoin, period, the end. If the equities are under pressure, do I still think Bitcoin's going to do his thing? Absolutely. If the equities are under heavy pressure and into a severe correction, is it possible that this current cycle doesn't outperform the last? Yeah, well, that's possible. That is quite possible. So with the equity markets, though, business as usual, do I feel much better about the Bitcoin trade during this bull market phase? Absolutely. Right now, the equity markets look good. There's no cause for concern. If you remember, we called the pullback ahead of time or potential pullback ahead of time. As it was pulling back, it was a question of when we make that new all-time highs. We broke out of the consolidation, breakout, retest, resumption, claiming for another test. We're kind of in no man's land right now, right? Looking healthy, but really not attractive. And that's where we are over on the equity markets. Let's talk about the goods. By the way, what a pleasure to be here with you all. What a pleasure to be here with you all. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not, smash that like button, fire us up. Let's get other people involved in what we're doing over here. Bitcoin, the question, we have a couple of things to look at Bitcoin. All right. First, I'm going to remind you all of what we did all on Bitcoin last week. Whether it was Thursday, we gave a beautiful analysis of Bitcoin. And then again on Friday, we gave a lighter version of that, right? So Bitcoin to me is looking ultra, ultra bullish over here. Why do I say that? Well, we're coming off a double pullback, right? Here we have the first 30% pullback. This was a 25% pullback, double pullback, right? By the way, if you go back to last cycle, there were multiple double pullbacks. Now, the one caveat was, remember when we made the new all-time high over here? I was like, watch out for a double pullback, watch out for but it never really happened. We went up actually a little bit higher than I would consider for a double pullback to be like, whatever, loosely defined, but it's still a double pullback. It's not exactly how I thought it was going to play out. That's okay. I just want to be in the neighborhood, right? But we're coming off a double pullback over here, right? Price just made new all-time highs. It is now consolidating right above that all-time high. I mean, do you really get any more bullish than that? I don't think so. It looks entirely bullish to me. People are wondering, and by the way, someone said it on Twitter. My brother said on Twitter, look, if you got hurt over the weekend over here on that little bit of you're doing it wrong. I want you to do it right. Just hang out and have that open posture of looking to learn. If you're watching this video right now and you're looking for me to say something that's going to help you jump into a trade right now, you're doing it wrong and you're going to lose money. Actually, you're in a rush to lose money. That's not how you do that. But if you're watching this video right now with a posture of looking to learn, by the way, there's a lot of people, smash the like button if you've been following this channel for several months right now and have greatly smash the like button right now if you made more money in your lifetime ever following this channel. All right, but the only way to do that is by taking that posture of learning. The markets are ultra competitive, right? You have to think of it as like the arena where gladiators fight, and people are doing as much research as us. If you're not doing as much research as us all the time and staying as focused as we are, you're going to get wrecked. It's as simple as that. Anyway, we're not going to get into that right now. We're going to get into what's going on with Bitcoin because we got a lot to discuss and a lot to share, and I'm excited about it. I missed you all on the weekend. I really missed you all on the weekend. And to be here right now with all of you, I can only say it is an honor and a pleasure. Really, what we have here is extraordinary. It's special, and it's just getting started. All right. The shirt's coming off. The shirt is coming off, and we're about to get into business. Me too. I love to learn. I love to learn, and I try to instill that into my children. It's all about always looking to learn, you know? All right. What are we doing? There we go. There, I missed you all too. Yeah. All right. All right. What are we looking at over here? Well, let's move forward first. We're going to really dissect this. So anyone right now is going to be able to answer a few different questions. If you're looking to buy Bitcoin now, should you buy Bitcoin now? Right? What are your risks to the downside right now? What exact levels should you be looking at? We're going to answer all of that, and we're going to make it extraordinarily clear. All right. George Cavern bringing the heat. No, he'll review Pomp and Raul Twitter later. Sorry to disappoint anyone who's looking to be disappointed today. We got no Pomp or Raul here today. When it's time to talk about anything, you know I bring the heat and bring it out where it is, right? You got to, anyway, I don't want to, brother, peace and love, my man. Peace and love. Some people will get it right and some people will not. There's a such thing out there. You know what? Here's the first drop of wisdom today. If you can't appreciate other people's success and be happy for them, you're a loser and you're never going to be successful. Plain and simple. All right. What else? Oh, second thing. Losers like to bring other people down. Losers like to bring other people down. They're miserable. They're miserable creatures, and they really like to see other people fail. That's not what we do here. That's not highly successful in every aspect of our life. We'd like to have other people succeed. We'd like to bring other people up, like Bitcoin, the rising tide that lifts all boats, conquering the markets, looking to lift up all those around them. It's what we do. It's what we do and who we are. Let's take a look at this chart over here. You probably saw this over the weekend. I want to share with you. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, anyway, it wasn't one of them who shared it. You can see over here, and what you're looking at is during the last bull market phase in 2017, you saw actually Bitcoin on exchanges increasing. Now, people are looking at this current bull market phase, and they're seeing Bitcoin on exchanges decreasing, right? So a couple of notes. First of all, yes, that's healthy. No question about that. Decreasing supply on a scarce asset is uber healthy, right? No question about that. Now, some people are thinking, well, that this is maybe a sign that we're going to enter a super cycle. Everyone loves to say super cycle in 2021, right? Okay. You think so? I don't know. How does Jordan see this? Well, what Jordan does normally, right? What I do normally, some people get really triggered if I talk about myself in the third person. It's the internet. Can you imagine not triggering someone? All right. So what I do is I take the markets. The markets are extraordinarily complicated. The markets themselves are one of the most complicated things there are. One of the greatest challenges there are. It's what got me attracted to the markets in the first place. It was the enormously complex challenge that they offered. Okay. What I do is I take something so complex that you have almost unlimited different variables. You get to decide what you're going to consider, what you're going to look at, and I simplify it down as much as possible, right? So that's the same way when I look at this chart over here. What do? Listen, do I think there's any chance we've seen about 500,000 Bitcoins come off exchanges, right? Do I think that over the next 6 months we see another 500,000 come off? Maybe. We got lots of not only institutions, we got a lot of public companies. They're stepping in, they're buying Bitcoin, no question about that. I love that. That's great. Do I think it's going to affect this current bull market over here to the extent that there's going to be no Bitcoin out there and then we're going to see a super cycle? Absolutely not. Not even close. Not even close. Do I think that perhaps 4 years from now, during the 2025 bull market phase, this could become much more of, let's say, a positive influence, the scarcity over the price of Bitcoin, even potentially taking us into what we call a super cycle as we overtake the market cap of gold. And then all of a sudden, the FOMO is extraordinarily real, maybe even seeing governments taking positions in central banks. Yep, I definitely do. All right, so right now, this is just nice. I don't think it affects this bull market phase whatsoever. Moving right along. What else we got? Did you see this over here? Look at this amazing thing. What exhilarating and breathtaking. Look at that. So what else we got over here, right? I don't, so from March, speculative inventory on exchange depleting as the US undergoes money printing. Yeah, but I don't think it's anything, okay? Here's what I want to look at over you. This is pretty cool, right? This is from Bitcoin Archive. The Bitcoin bull market has a long way to go. That's important for me right over here. I want everyone to understand, as other people out there are telling you that we are exhausted. We'll get into that in just a second. As other people out there right now are worried about a pi cycle cross, I am not. We'll cover that clearly for you in a second, right? So what else? We have a long way to go. This is the signal I want you to focus on and why. When young coins have become 50% of supply, the market has peaked. That's signal. That signal. We are 30%, 36% right now. At the same time in 2017 bull market, the price was around 3K and increased 6X. That would be 330,000 plus if this is repeated. That's important too, because that puts us in the neighborhood of exactly where we're looking. That puts us in our price zone of where we're looking. And by the way, we're not only looking for it to repeat, we're looking for an increase as we're seeing increasing gains during this uber easy monetary conditions we're looking at. And the printer is going to keep going burr. All right. So over here, you can see right now we have 30%, 36% of all new coins being held. Cycle peaks around 50% of supply. The reason I'm sharing with you right now is so that you know and you understand we are still early right now in this Bitcoin bull market cycle. This one over here is very cool. Let me take a look at this with you over here. So I had to do a little bit of research to understand what they're looking at over here. I have it for you right over here. If you go to this article, I'm going to post it in the link below so you have the link. You could, if you're interested to know what exactly is being shared over here, you have to do a little bit of reading, okay? I skimmed through it and read it all, and I'm not able to summarize it with you. But what I am able to do and show you is what I look at over here. And what I'm looking at is in each cycle, we had these 3 waves, okay? I mean, you should be able to show your 5-year-old kid, and they could get that. And all of us could get this. We see the 3 distinct waves up. We just completed the first. Why I'm showing that to you is because it's still early in this bull market phase that we're in right now. As a lot of people are thinking we're exhausted. A lot of people who have a history of being wrong think we're exhausted and are getting ready to exit over here. But they don't think that we should be above $20,000 right now. Keep that in mind for you. All right, you can see that we've started already here, the second push up over here. One thing to take note of, when we had the double wave, this was in 2013, we had the cycle pie cross twice. When we had the double wave, the second impulse was higher and greater than the third. Okay, in the other 2, you can see it goes 1, 2, 3, each one making a higher impulse. I believe that we're currently mirroring closely the last cycle more than this cycle. I don't think we're going to see a double wave. You know that early in January or late in December, I said to you it was early January, what a double wave would look like, and if it were to occur, how we would recognize it and why we would exit expecting a greater drawdown. We're not seeing that. Anything's possible. Who knows what happens in April? Are we going to start seeing some public companies start announcing soon? Is that going to kick off a FOMO? If we see price go vertical, then we're going to say, all right, now we're looking for an exit. We're looking to lighten up massively on any lightly leveraged positions, and we'll be looking to accumulate. Not only that, we're going to be looking for a longer phase, maybe 2 or 3 months of consolidation. None of that's happening right now. We're looking at a very bullish market over here. Let's keep going over there. Let's keep going. Let's talk about the cycle pie for a second. Give it as much time as it deserves. Some people right now think that we might be have a cycle pie cross coming. Some people are saying it's an erroneous cross due to the sell-off in March 2020 when the model broke to the downside. Some people are saying that data is about to come off, and then we're going to see the cycle pie not cross. And look, all of it's irrelevant. Let me tell you what's signal here. If we got a cross right now, there's no way I would sell. Why would I not sell? Because price is not anywhere close to going vertical. Okay? I would not sell, and anyone who sold right now on a cycle pie cross, great. They're going to be buying back higher, and they're going to be providing fuel for this thing to go higher. Do I think that if people exited here on a cycle pie cross, that it could drag the price down of Bitcoin? I don't think it'll influence it at all. All right. So let's just, you see, that was about 20 seconds. In my opinion, that's how much time a cycle pie cross warrants right now. And let's call it as it is. I was one of the first, not the first or anywhere close to it, but we discussed and talked about cycle pie, how we would use it in our analysis way early. All right. Not concerned about it, not thinking about it. And if you are, I think you're in the wrong place. Not here. I mean, I think you're looking at the wrong indicator at the wrong time. Our holdo, by the way, showing us again, we're not even close here. We're still early in this bull market phase over here. Just another signal, but listen, it's not really such a big use over here. This is interesting. This is the 1 year holder wave. By the way, over 60% of Bitcoin holders on chain held through that crash and crush of 60% in the bear market when during the March 2020 when the model broke to the downside. Those people have strong hands. They're not giving up their Bitcoin. And you could see over here, actually, this is weird. You could see actually this is coming up over here. Normally that doesn't happen at this point of the cycle where you see more people actually holding. It's quite bullish. If you can't tell, I'm uber bullish at this point of where we are right now in the cycle. I see a lot of people concerned, wondering whether or not the price is exhausted. This is over here, by the way. Let me find Alan. Let me find my boy Alan over here. Alan AU, right? If you're not following him on Twitter, do it. Actually, watch this. Bitcoin's price fell 7.4% to 55,000 in the past 24 hours after getting rejected at 60K. This analysis most closely resembles my own. That's why I'm sharing it with you. Not only that, boom, Alan's conquering the markets to the core here with us almost each and every day. In my opinion, this could be the last shakeout before the major push-up will occur. Price target 72 to 90,000. We're both in the same neighborhood. What will cause the drop next and why? He gets into it. I'm going to retweet this. If you're missing it, my boy. No. My man. Right? Hold on one second. Bear with me. Technical difficulties over here. If you haven't seen this one yet, go ahead and follow that tweet later. Make sure you're following Alan. Alan's all over it. Look, Jordan, is it concerning that Bitcoin hasn't touched the bull market support bands since September of 2020? Could it be exhausted in the short term? I love it. Why do I love it? Because we're always looking around us, situational awareness. We're always concerned, right, about what our risks are. Great, right? So my question was, what are bull market support bands? I don't know, 20 plus years in the market. I've never heard of that. What is that, right? So, 21 week EMA, it's a Benjamin Crow thing. Okay, I'm not concerned at all then. Why? Well, it's the 20 SMA and the 21 EMA. Why am I not concerned? Well, I've never heard of it before. Why would I be concerned? I've never heard of it before, right? There's a lot of distraction this point of the cycle. And it's not just the FUD, it's also those joining the party who are noisy. All of a sudden, everyone's an expert. Where were you? In March 2020 as you were worried about the stock market crashing again, right? As I was telling you, QE has started, stocks go up, you cannot sell stocks anymore. Where's Bitcoin headed? We're perfect laser focus. And everyone else is telling you something different, and now Bitcoin's pumping, and they're a Bitcoin expert. No, they're not. I'm sorry. You're wrong, and you're wrong again, right? Anyone, let's keep going over here. This gets good over here. This is so fun interacting with all of you on Discord over here. Anyone just buying and holding, blah, blah, blah. All right, let's keep going to where I wanted to talk about this coming off a double pullback. Right now, we're coming off a double pullback. I told you that earlier in the thing. To me, it's quite bullish. Coming off a double pullback over here. It's kind of reset. What was happening over here was very concerning, the vertical move up. It was right here, the first week of January, when I put out the video to you all, and I said, look, if this continues, if we go vertical, and at that point, it was towards 80,000, then we're looking at a double cross over here, a double wave this cycle, resembling the first cycle, not the last cycle. And we're going to need to kind of reevaluate our position and be looking to exit and then re-enter again. Then we have the pullback, super healthy. right? Price up again, another pullback, super healthy. I'm with Alan. I think that this is the last. From here, we're going up higher. Now, what happens if we don't? Let's jump into a little TA. Jordan, you need to focus on the technicals. Price right now is at $57,000. I think we did a good job. I think we did. That's right, Wes. My children will be watching all of these videos as their financial education at some point in the future. Please keep it clean. No question about that. There's plenty of other places on the internet, right? There's plenty. You could go and you can hang out and you could do whatever. If you're here, you're interested in creating a better future for yourself, your family, and all those around you, looking to do legendary things. All right? Legendary things. Jordan, focus on the what's my Richie, you're like it doesn't anyway, Richie, right now, here's what I think about that, right? What are your thoughts on hyperinflation in the US? Is it possible it could happen? Yep. Are we a long way from it? I don't know. You see, it's the type of thing that when it happens very quickly. I know that if you're positioned well into Bitcoin right now, you don't even have to worry about it or think about it. That's what so we're going to focus on this important trade right now, right? We're going to focus right here. Right now, we're going to focus on the technicals, right? What do we know about the technicals over here? By the way, I would have to say these last two pullbacks, masterfully played, we'll call it, out of them. What's going on here? I'm on the 2 hour just to give you a little bit of insight. You can see what's going on with this little bit of resistance over here at 51,500. Okay, this was the resistance coming off of, I want you to see this. This was the first pullback, right? On this correction over here, the last correction we have is about 25%. Once we broke out of it, right, we came up, we came into this resistance right there at 51,500, came back down. After we broke out, and then we drew in I'm not going to do it again. We did it amazingly. After we broke out again, it was that 5150 resistance again. That's the line I want you to focus in on. Why we're above that line right now, this was the resistance, and then I said to you before we broke out, once we break out above that, we look at the next leg up, probably going into price discovery. That happened. We made a new all-time high, and then since we've been consolidating, right? As long as we're above 51,500, this is ultra bullish. Ultra bullish. If you're looking at the market right now with any other lenses or any other eyes, but seeing that right now that this market is ultra bullish, you are doing it wrong. If you're looking for a top here, if you think that the market's exhausted because it's not below or because it's not touching some imaginary bull market band line, then you're doing this wrong. I don't want you doing this wrong. I know that there are nice people out there and you might enjoy them, but if their analysis has you on the wrong side of the trade and for a long time, I'm so sorry. You have to be cautious. You have to be super cautious. Right now, we're looking at an ultra bullish bear market. If you're not fully positioned right now and more, you're doing it wrong. Now, what would cause us to have to lighten up that position? Do you see this trend line I have over here also connecting these last two touches over there? This is right over here. A break below that trend line and a break below 51,500. As of last night, they were kind of in the same place. The trend line's now moving up. The trend line's moving up right now, okay? So the trend line right now is coming in somewhere around 5,300, right? Above that trend line, this is ultra bullish. Follow the mouse over to the left, right? Do you see over here support, resistance, right around that trend line? Do you see why above this trend line? Oh, hold on. Do you see why above this? By the way, what a joy to be here with you all. How far are we into the session over here? We're about, let's say, 33 minutes. How blessed am I to know all of you, All right. So anyway, thank you. So as long as you're above that trend line over here right now, you are ultra bullish. Now a break below that trend line, it's very close. How far, what is that? 0.5%, 1%? I don't know what it is. It's very close over here. I would still at this point remain ultra bullish unless we broke that 51,500. At that point, I would lighten up a little on any leverage trade I have. Okay? Now, rewind. Let's say that we keep going over here. Let's say that we move up and we break this trend line later and at a higher price. At that point, there's a lot of space between here. You lighten up your position later. Okay, boom, let's keep going. What happens if we break 51,500, right? You lighten up a little your lightly leveraged position because something's wrong here. We're not looking bearish. We're not concerned, but something's off over here. How far of a pullback is that, by the way, into that area over there? That's a 16% pullback. If we break there, that means to me, all right, Jordan, we might be seeing now a 30% pullback. I want to be aware of that. I want to be prepared for that mentally first, right? I have my last line down over here. That's a light area of support. That's all the way down at 33.5. I think we could go lower, and that could take us somewhere around the heavier support, 38% drawdown. Do I think that's going to happen? I do not think we're going to see a 38% drawdown on Bitcoin right now, but I'm prepared for it. All right, I'm prepared. By the way, there's some stronger support over here. Let me show it to you. It's right over here in this area over here around, let's call it 46,500. Okay, there's some pretty strong support over there. That's about a 25% pullback. Do I think that we would hold over there at 25% pullback? I think so. No question about that. Anyway, that's a look at the markets. And the word of the day, by the way, is ultra bullish. Ultra bullish over here. What's going on? Nasdaq right now, as the equities have opened up about 5-6 minutes ago, is maintaining the highs of the session. The dollar is still unchanged. It's a little bit off the lows, but well off the highs. The dollar was bid last night off of the Turkish central bank news. And then we're seeing right now silver a little off its lows, just making those observations of where we are and why. Let's keep going over here. Everyone should have just the, let's say, absolute clarity of what's going on with Bitcoin. And that was shared last night over here in Bitcoin. By the way, the question came up, is it possible that we have 30% pullbacks, right? And then it was pointed out what it looked like in 2017 bull market run, whereas like, look, going up into the final push, there were 30% pullbacks, but we just digged a little deep. I said, look, I'm on a mobile. I can't really get a good look at that. But it appears we achieved 150% from the lows of those pullbacks. I would not consider those double or triple pullbacks. Please do correct me if I'm wrong, because I only want to be right and understand what's going on. And then it did that, and for sure, you could see that those weren't. We did have over 150% gains off those lows. Those weren't double pullbacks. This double pullback and the little bit of extension, this says to me, I'm right on board with Alan's looking at. I think what we're looking at setting up here is a major push upwards. I feel like a lot of people are not looking for it and or expecting it. And that just makes it why we're so, like, why it's all so bullish, right? People continue to be overly bearish. Not everyone, but too many people continue to be overly bearish. I'm bullish. I'm following price, and price right now is right consolidating off the all-time high over here, coming off a double pullback. I love it. As long as we do not trade below 51,500, I have to maintain that posture. I just want you all to understand, if we break that level, if we lose that support, okay, then I'm looking at what a 25% pullback will be, because there's decent support at 46,500, and if we lose that, then this might be the big pullback. All right, there we are. There we are. We almost made it. We almost made it to 1,000 likes over there. And then it came up, and I'm just going to make sure, I want everyone to be thinking what we're thinking. You know what? Maybe we go too fast sometimes. Maybe we take for granted what we understand and what others don't. There's a lot of miscommunication often. So I want to just do a better job at being a better communicator all the time. Some people are like, listen, this guy's been wrong about everything, but he's saying in the coming bear market what might be good accumulation places. Okay, yeah, I told you that for months now. 15 months to the next halving. Look at the colors. 15 months to the next halving. 15 months to the next halving. 15 months to the next halving. That's the cycle low. That's the best place to accumulate. Easy peasy. If you're making that complicated, you're doing it wrong. That's that. It's you got to take something enormously complicated and make it as simple as possible. I want to look more into this. I do subscribe to Glassnode. I don't find it that useful, but I'm hoping we will in the future. There we are, everyone. Let's take a look now across other markets and see what's going on. We have Ethereum still looking what? Here's the word of the day. ultra bullish. Say it with me. Look at this though. You could see it consolidating right below its all-time high, and it's just on the launch pad. It needs to break above this trend line over here to set it off. If and when that happens, Ethereum, it looks set to go over here. It looks good. Ethereum and Bitcoin continue just to kind of be, look at that over there. What do you got going on over there, Jordan? Consolidating, going nowhere, right? Is that so? At this point in time, what happens next is really anyone's guess. I don't know which one's going to lead to the upside. Not really concerned about it or thinking about it. I think we need to take a strong and good look at FX. That's what we're setting up now. That's what we're going to do. Let me take a look over there at the 10-year really quick. No. If the pi cycle crosses and we go a week or so without a substantial decline, would that invalidate the model? Bernie, if we get a pi cycle cross like in the next 2 weeks and prices relatively like prices below 90,000, it's just invalidated right then and there. I've already invalidated it, right? Just before it's happening, I'm telling you, if we get a cross right now, it's meaningless. And that's that. All right. So, and that's that. If price is not going vertical into the cross, it's invalidated. Okay. And, you know, could it be because of what happened back in March of 2020? Yeah, there could be a whole, because of this, when the model broke. Yeah, it doesn't matter, but it's nothing for us to consider or look at. We thought like price and price alone is the most important indicator. And that's what we're using for our exit. Yeah, we have a whole bunch of like situational awareness things that have to be checked off. And right now we know that we're still very early in the cycle. We looked at a couple of different factors this morning showing us that we're early cycle, very early in the cycle. We're not even towards like the final push to 2/3 yet, right? So we're following price, and if price is showing us or giving no indications that we're looking at any type of vertical blow off top, then we're not looking, yeah, and that's that. So what else? Thank you, Enrico. Yeah, Jack, that will be, yes. I mean, Jack is asking, right, is it, I lost the chart over there where we're looking at the pretty colors. Will we be looking at what the possible bear market low be within the next couple or few weeks or any time? Yes, right? And as we get there, Jack, we'll do that. I mean, the whole video is going to be labeled and talking about exactly that. So is alt season over? No, it's not. Not even close. Alt season is not over. No way. And by the way, if you go back and you look at 2017, the massive alt run, it was the last 30 days that it all really happened. Do I expect that we see a similar speculative blow off top in alt seasons this time around? Yep. Be aware, the 3 months going into that massive move on altcoins, Bitcoin was destroying them all. Bitcoin was eating them all. So do I think we're going to see something else like that? Here we go, guys. We're about to get into it. We're going to do a strong FX session over here. And then, yeah, we're going to have fun with it. All right. So what else? FX. Let's start with the dollar. Let's start with the DXY. Dollar over here continues to be pushing. And this trend line over here, it's variable, right? It should be right there. That's where the market's paying attention to that last bit of support and resistance. I mean, that's too close to even, but whatever. The market right here or right now is in no man's land. It's got to, the dollar has to break above 92.50. It's interesting to note that we're now looking at hedge funds positioned long the dollar. Are they right or more going to pile into that? Or right now we're going to see the turn? We don't know. But we're getting ready to a resolution over here. Price has been going sideways for quite a while, right? When did it start going sideways? Over here, I guess early December. If you've been watching this channel, it was right here in the middle of December where we started saying, all right, price will now be going sideways and consolidating, and it has since, right? We're getting close, it appears, where we're going to be breaking to the upside or downside. There's no edge here. That's where we get. There's no edge yet. Are we close? Yeah. Below 91.37 over here, below this last bit of resistance and support over here. Let me just draw a straight line over there. Below there, we're looking at a weekly dollar, probably testing the lower end of this range over here. And if we break down, we could see 2021, some big moves against the dollar. However, right? As yields continue to rise here, it is possible the dollar puts up this big, and I'll call it a counter trend move. I call it counter trend for many reasons. I don't care to get into them right now. But above 92.55, then we're looking at a bigger break here, and we'll be testing this blue box area. So that's important as we look at US dollar pairs right now, because there's really no clear edge on the dollar, which means I don't want to be focused on dollar pairs. All right, we're going to see where the opportunity is right now in FX. Hold on, let me clean this up so when I come back to it, it doesn't look all crazy skates. But that's what I want to focus on right now, these two lines over there, why we're consolidating between them both, waiting for the next bit of move over there. John. All right, so let's start with the euro US dollar next. Then we'll go through the dollar pairs just to get. So, by the way, when I look at this chart over here, it reminds me of the recent Conquering the Markets session we did. It was a masterclass on Forex, right? Advanced, intermediate, we called it over there. This was the last signal on euro US dollar, breaking down from that trend line, breakdown, retest, resumption off, and we're consolidating since. But as we're consolidating here in this area, I just looked at the DXY and I'm like, I don't have an edge. So I don't know what happens next over here. This just leads me to believe that I want to stay away from the dollar. What about the Australian dollar, US dollar? It's hugging support over here. It's hugging that trend line support. Where is it about to break down? I mean, I really don't know. I avoid sideways markets like the plague, and this thing has been sideways now for all of 2021. By the way, anyway, it doesn't even matter. That was a beautiful trade we all took on that, 40% profits, and then wound up getting stopped out with the rest of the last 60% into small gains locked in. But there's nothing going on the dollar, okay? What about the yen then? Is there anything going on in the yen that I want to take advantage of? Look at, I don't know. Let's start with the Australian dollar, Japanese yen, okay? Interesting. Right below resistance. I mean, I don't see it. I'm going to look on the daily time frame right over here really quick. Just give yourself a better edge. This is an interesting bit of resistance, by the way. Why I say that is because getting above it, it opens up further upside. We're having trouble with it right now. I don't see it. It's Monday, though. And just a heads up, a lot of traders, as Asia opens Monday morning, Sunday evening over in the West, they're like firing off trades on FX. Why it's uber volatile, pricing in all of the closed gap from the weekend. And that continues through the London session, you know, until we are right now on Monday. From my experience, it's usually the Tuesday morning session in New York that really helps give me a better edge for what's going on in FX during that week. It's more about like cleaner setups than more about just like as many setups as I can take. If you're not making money in the markets, most likely one of two things is happening. Either you're over trading, which means your time preference is too small, right? Or you have no idea how to manage a trade. When I say manage a trade, I don't mean how to actually manage the trade. That's more intermediate stuff, the stuff that we cover, more about how to position that trade. You're trading too big, most likely, and that's why you can't, because you think that if you trade bigger, you can make more money. I mean, it's totally opposite of that. But anyway, I don't see it yet. Let's keep going. Let's check out the Euro Japanese yen, okay? All I could say that it's interesting that this was our resistance, right? And then we broke above it, became our support. It's touching it again right now, and it's above that area right here. This is broken resistance, turn support. But I don't see an area to attack. I'm just making observations. And by the way, right now, for whatever reason, the Euro Japanese yen looks better than the Australian dollar Japanese yen, in my opinion. All right. What about our go-to of the year, the pound Japanese yen, right? Let's say this is coming into an area of support over here. It's pulled back a little bit. I don't see it. Look, this is probably one of the greatest or most important things that the market's showing me right now. I've told you before, Jim Rogers said, and I never understood it for many years, what he does is he just waits till there's money lying on the other side of the room, and then he goes over and picks it up. What I've learned that to mean for my own analysis and trading is that when I'm looking at charts, if I'm trying to force something that looks like it's clearly set up, then there's no money on the other side of the room for me to go pick up. And I just keep moving. You know, I'm not interested in forcing any setups because that leads to me losing money. I have that patience. The patience comes from Once you make money in the markets, it's not discipline, patience, and all these things become irrelevant. You just know what you have to do to make money, and you're not going to do anything else. It's that simple, right? So I know that trying to force something that's not there, that's a loser's man's game. I don't do that. I don't see anything clear right now. I don't see anything at all, but I guess that's important to understand and recognize. What about this one? The Euro British pound. You can see that bit of resistance is coming and spiking into again, but I don't see the edge. Wow, I don't see the edge. New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. Is that going to, no. I don't see it, folks. And you could hear it in my voice. Do you hear the disappointment in the tone? Like, I wanted to see it. I wanted to have a fire FX session where we're just like, okay, here. So this is how I do it, by the way. And I'm just going to explain it to you. What I like doing is going through all of the FX pairs, and I'm looking to find out which have the best setups for the upcoming session. I know that I only take setups during the London session. So I'm setting that up for later this evening as I go over the charts again, looking for what setups I might be placing orders for. And the analogy I give, it's like a surfer sitting on a surfboard looking at the horizon, looking for the set of waves to come in. You know that a set of waves comes in a bunch, right? They're called sets. You see multiple waves. And then when that set's coming in, you're looking at which is the best wave to ride. You're looking at which is the best setup for you to take. Right now, I'm looking over the horizon, and there's no set coming in. The market, the waves are flat. There's nothing happening at all, and that's that. What about the pound Japanese yen? It's off at 0.5%, right? Back into this little bit of support. But is that something that I want to bite on? Not at all. Not even at all. And this could break down further, by the way. Look at this trend line of support over here. You can see that little bit of line over there. Am I forcing that? I feel like I'm forcing that. So I don't see it. And I don't want to force anything. And I'm sorry, there's just nothing there. So let's keep it moving. FX aside, we'll try again tomorrow. There's nothing happening right now that is interesting in FX. Tone equals snowboard session at Vail. Still very important. Yeah. I mean, Dave, so Dave, you're perfectly on point, right? It's extraordinarily important to understand that right now you should not be forcing something. No question about that, Dave. Absolutely. And that right there is what I'm going to highlight because Dave is on it, right? What else? What else? Let's go. So this is important too. Look what he's picking up on. The severity of your tone and self-presented uncertainty. By the way, also when you're following me, always pay attention to my tone. It's so important for that's the tell. That's the tell. When considering these Forex pairs compared to when describing Ethereum and Bitcoin. Thanks for being expressive. That's super important right there, right? So, wow, 1,100 likes. We had nothing going on in FX. That's pretty cool. I would love to see it. New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc. Definitely. Let's take a look. I don't think I have that pair on my chart, but I'll pull it up for you. I do. New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc. All right, let's take a look. Look at all these squiggly lines I got everywhere. So, like what we're seeing right now is just consolidation. Do you see it? Right? That's what we're seeing right there. And if you break out to the upside, that's a continuation of this current trend we're in. If you break out to the upside, look for that retest resumption. That would be a beautiful trade. Like, let's take a look at the Australian dollar Swiss franc as well. Let's take a look at the pound Swiss franc. So would I buy off the support over here? No, I would not. I would wait for the breakout. By the way, you're seeing the Swiss franc, which is what? A risk off pair. Did we see risk off in the markets last week as we were worried about the Fed? Yep. And what happened? This consolidated towards the all-time highs. It's pretty bullish, but you got to wait for this. You got to wait for the breakout, retest, resumption. That could be setting up possibly going forward. Glad you pointed that out, Garcia. What about the Australian dollar Swiss franc? Very, very similar. Let's do this over here. You can see a little bit of a false break. No question about it. There we go. All right. So I would be watching that one as well. They both look very similar. I wouldn't take them both. That would just be doubling my risk. I would only be taking one. And, you know, the day of the setup, when I said the day of the setup, if they break out again and then get back down for the retest and the resumption off, I would be waiting and looking for which of the two I want to enter. I would not enter both. And what about the pound? I want to look at the pound Swiss franc also. Why? Because the pound has been, since the new year, the strongest currency, relatively speaking to all others, ever since the Brexit. So let's look at the pound Swiss franc. I have to pull that up. I don't have that on my watch list. All right. Similar, but not the same. Which of these is similar, but not? You got this little, I'm going to draw this a little dark over here. You got a perfect bull flag developing. I just want to point it out to you really quick. I'm going to just clone this over here and bring it down, and you can see the symmetry, and you can see right over there that perfect, good-looking bull flag over here, and it's beautiful. Now, I would, or perhaps, be tempted maybe to take one trade on either the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc, and another on the pound Swiss franc, right? Because there's a different correlation between the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, which is very, very tight compared to the pound in those two pairs. But yeah, Garcia, I'm glad you brought it up. That's the best looking bunch of stuff I've seen going on in FX, and that's all worth continuing to watch. So beautiful. Thank you for that, my brother. Very appreciative of that. There's always opportunity. There's always opportunity, right? That's the markets. Let's look at oil over here. So what's interesting about oil is you can see it coming into a little bit of resistance right now. Let's check that out. I'm going to go ahead and do similar to what we just had over there. So just to help myself out, like, I don't know, is this the type of resistance I'm looking for? Let's see if that angle is correct. I feel like it's a little off, and I feel like, all right, hold on. I'm getting like a little flustered over there. I'm connecting this resistance to that support and to see that resistance over there. Like, all right, we'll do rough sketch, right? That's kind of what I am looking at right there. That's what my eyes were drawn to. All right, do you see that resistance? Then support broke below it. The question is, does that become resistance now? And are we rejected? And even if we were, I would not go short oil in this current environment, right? So what else? You know, do you get back above? Does that become more enticing, or is it not enticing at all? For me, it's the latter. It's not enticing at all over here. But that's what I would be watching if I was like trying to force a trade on oil. Right now, you're into that resistance. You got to get above it, right, in order to feel good and clear about another move up possibly. And that's that. What else are we looking at? Oh, Jack, I don't agree with that. It's since you're sharing it here. If you want to exit now and you're up massively on Bitcoin, go. Well, I could say that. I mean, I added more at 42 and 48, and you know, I'm right. But the bull market, we're so early. The bull market's not even close to running its course right now. Exiting now would be one of the greatest mistakes you can make, in my opinion. Exiting the most important trade that matters at this point in cycle would be one of the greatest mistakes. What are you going to exit into? What's a better alternative? Right now, the question is, if I don't own Bitcoin, do I want to buy? That's the question that we need to just look at really quick. And it's the same thing that we answered on Friday. I forgot who asked it, and we looked at it. But if you're looking to buy right now, right, you're waiting for a breakout above that trend line over there. And then that looks like a good place to buy. And when I say good place to buy, I mean, we're coming off a double pullback, right? Very bullish over here. The risk is to the upside. Look at Alan's tweet again. He summarized exactly the way that I see Bitcoin right now. The risk is to the upside. Always expect a 30% plus pullback during the bull market phase over here. But right now, and we called it out over here. Not only did I call it out, look on the right here. Look on the community tab of the YouTube channel right over there. I said, this is your time to buy. Bitcoin under $30,000, coming off 40,000. This is your time to buy. And there were some people who were like, oh my gosh, that's dangerous. Why would you say that? Well, I don't know. Bitcoin's almost doubled since. And then you had another opportunity to buy over here on this 25% pullback when we broke out of it, right? Do I think we're going to get another pullback over here? No, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think we're going to have a triple pullback. If we do, we know where we need to lighten up, no question about that. But right now the risk is to the upside. If we were trading about $80,000 right now, I wouldn't say that the risk is to the upside anymore at all. And I wouldn't be saying you should be looking to buy. I'd be saying you should be waiting for that 30% pullback to scale back into Bitcoin, right? But we're just coming off of those. You missed your opportunity, you know. And the risk is still to the upside right now. So what else are we looking at over there? These are boring. Back to Bitcoin. I guess I got you over there. So listen, Elliot, right? Yes, that's true. But at the same time, I just have to tell you, if it wasn't for my 20 years or 17 years experience trading currencies and Forex, there's no way that I would have the laser accuracy that I do on Bitcoin and every other instrument and market there is. If you want to learn how to trade and understand the markets, learn in the foreign exchange markets. They are the best, purest markets. If you want to learn how the market structure works of trading price alone off the support and resistance with the help of trend lines and chart patterns, you have to do it on FX. There's no question about it. It happens and it unfolds too quickly on crypto. That's not the training grounds. Training is after, you learned how to be consistently profitable. Then you just take that knowledge, boom, translate it over to the crypto market, and you're, what I would call an expert, unquestionably. But, anyway, they're important. And sometimes it's like, whatever it is, if you want to be elite at anything, then you have to put in the time. You have to put in the training. It doesn't matter what it is. If you want to be an elite walker, you're going to have to walk hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles, right? And that's the way it is. So what else are we looking at? Boom, 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 boom. So Jack, by the way, because we got lots of people giving out lots of advice, just want to make sure everyone understands. I don't care if you use 10 to 1 leverage or 200 to 1 leverage. It's all irrelevant. It doesn't matter because it's the same amount of risk per trade. And if you're just starting off, you're starting on a demo, but you're risking 0.5% per trade. It doesn't matter if you're using 201 to leverage or 50 to 1 leverage, and there's no way you're going to get wrecked doing that. Just careful. A lot of people say things. I don't know that they've really thought about them. I know that I have. I've really thought about them. I saw a tweet yesterday. I liked it on my Twitter. Let's go find that. It's really important. Let's go. It's right over here. It's going to go to my profile, like tweets, and you can see this tweet over here. This was all from this morning. You all bring in the fire, right? The most successful people I know today are ones that like to take risks, right? I always tell you, listen, I know that I have the propensity to take on any more risks than any of you. And at the same time, I'm the most risk averse about it, but are 10 times more obsessive and calculated than the average person in terms of which risk they take. Boom. This is that right there. I've thought about it. There's no question about it. I spend all my time thinking about it. So what else are we looking at? This is important over there, Sebastian. Really cool name, by the way, Sebastian. This is really important over there because a lot of people, you look across YouTube, there's a lot of people using all caps and they're like, the most important thing in the world is about to happen in Bitcoin. and the Bitcoin looks exhausted, you gotta be really careful. So what else are we looking at? Yeah, Stefan, I mean, it depends on where we're looking and what we're talking about. When you start, so let's break this down. Stefan's asking, right? Can I help you with the ability to spot an accumulation phase as opposed to a distribution phase in a sideways market other than breakouts and other? What market are you talking about and why? Because you can't answer that question. You can't even begin to answer that question without understand. That's not like a 2 + 2 = 4 question. Because it depends on many different factors and circumstances. So I guess we can't get into that right now. But yeah, for sure. And watch this channel. We got a big shout out over here. Jordan, we have bearish divergence on the RSI on the weekly. What's your opinion on that? So number one, I don't ever consult the RSI. Do I think the RSI on the weekly will be above 95 at Bitcoin's peak? Yep. Do I think if anyone exit at when the RSI hits 94 that they're leaving way too much on the table? There's no question about that. It's going to be overbought. It's going to be overbought, and it could be for weeks. And by the way, Bitcoin last cycle went from, let's call it, I don't know, but let's call it 4,000 or 5,000 to 20,000 in just a few weeks. So yeah, there's no question about that. I don't consult the RSI ever. Okay. By the way, if you're in a range bound market, the RSI, when it's overbought, is going to offer a really good sell signal, and when it's oversold, a really good buy signal. But if a market's trending, especially like Bitcoin does during its bull market phase, it's not important and it's irrelevant, as well as divergence. Listen, is it possible to trade off of divergence and develop a successful strategy? Yes, it is. You could do that. Because it's all about risk management. It's all about how you manage the trade itself. There's no question it could be done. Is it as effective as trading price alone off support and resistance? No, it's not. It's not even close. So important question, but I got to give it to you as it is. All right. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, Jason. It's quite, Oh, would you explain where you would load back up? Yes, Jason, that's a great question to build off. We talked about if we lost 50. By the way, what a pleasure to be here with you all, right? But Jason, it's a great question. How to improve patience in the markets? Listen, if you already smashed the like button and you can't do it again, and the answer to this question is to watch this channel. If you want to improve your patience in the markets, just write CTM in the comments. Please write CTM if you already smashed the like buttons and just want to affirm the best way to improve patience in this market is following this channel, bar none. Bar none. The best way to have the most accurate sniper type analysis is following this channel as well. No question about that. Could you explain this is a great question, Jason. Let's take a look at it. We looked at our downside. I'm ultra bullish. Where's my downside? A break of this 51,500. That leads me to believe something's wrong. I need to lighten up my position, and I will. What about if that happens? When do we then begin to lighten up? Look, I'm just going to go back over here, Jason, to the last pullback that we did together. As this was pulling back as price was pulling back over here, right? We then came into here and bounced off, and then I drew in this trend line like that, right? Like that. So the first opportunity to begin adding to your position was when price breaks back above that trend line. As we enter into the pullback, here's a trend line again, right? This was also masterfully done together, by the way, because we broke out above, retested it. We did this on Twitter together. That's the first opportunity as you break the trend line from the consolidation is when you begin adding up on that position. And then another one, as you're building up and coming into that high, you continue increasing that. You want to be, as you're making the new all-time high, you want to be fully positioned and more. Jason, it's very simple. I'm not going to complicate it. The first opportunity to begin adding back to that position is after we break the trend line from the consolidation, right? So right now, this is why I said if you're not in a Bitcoin right now, when you look to enter is on a breakout of that trend line. You should be, in my opinion, fully positioned and more right over here because that was coming off of, right over there, that breakout, that retest, and above 51,500. That's when I was back to being fully positioned and more right over there. And all I could say to add on that, Jason, as everything is nuanced, as it happens, we're doing it in real time every time. As it happens, we're doing it together in real time, every time, and there's no one better at it. That's the truth about it. There's no one better at it. All right. What else? Thank you, Miguel, my brother. Boom. No, never. Jacob, so it's a great question. Do I look at candlesticks? So when I first started trading or first got introduced to the markets, right? I had my own lease financing business, working, who knows, 40 plus hours a week and spent equally as much time reading and absorbing as much information as could about the markets. Now that was before YouTube and it was before we had all of this beautiful information available at our fingertips. I had to go to bookstores and read books and magazines and go to conferences and things like that. It was a lot different. One of my favorite books was Steve Neeson's Candlestick Charting. And I loved it. And I spent years studying and understanding candlesticks. And at the end of the day, they don't provide any edge whatsoever. And that's that. Yeah. So, but by the way, you did pick out my two favorite patterns, which are the most effective, the doji and the gravestone and the hammer. They are the two most effective. But at the end of the day, they don't lead to any type of successful strategy whatsoever. James, I opened up a terrible trade at 61. I don't think so. I got greedy after closing a trade and taking profit at 8,000. Would you get back in? James, listen, brother. You got to work here and you got to rewatch this whole video from the get because it's only an hour long. You know, we gave the perfect situational awareness of where we are right now at Bitcoin and why, and the perfect opportunity if you're not into Bitcoin right now, when you should be buying. So, you know, that's that. Rustin, thank you, my brother. Thank you. Learning head snack for some juice. Let's get it. Let me hold on. Let me pull that up over here for sure. Let's get some head snack on over here so I could take just a quick breath and then continue this beautiful session that we're having together because I love it. I love spending. I'm going to drop the beat right now. Just get ready for it. Here comes head snack.
Markets, analyzing the charts, hitting projected targets within the margin. Find the flow, sip the matcha, and wait for the waves to come in with lobsters. The kind-hearted Jordan Fosters, smarter, not harder to move the markers. On his way to conquer, trading and investing, drinking the coffee while reflecting on the blessing. The markets are not crashing, the prices might be slashing just to pretend they're in fashion. Hit the like button, comments, and smash it. Boom, boom, Jordan in the room. Grab the bull by the horns and to the moon. Flow from the plateau, make the play. Boom, boom, it's a taco day.
It's a taco day. It's a taco day.
That's so great. I didn't know you guys were calling for head snack like that. That's a beast mode. That's awesome. Love it. We got Noodle back today. Noodle is, you know, we got Noodle back in the crowd over there. More self blah, 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 please. Noodle, brother. My brother. My lost sheep, Noodle. One day you're going to get it. But let me tell you how it is, Noodle. There's no way you can conquer the markets without having the confidence it takes to do that. That confidence comes from success. That confidence comes from being able to change your life and do epic things. Okay? And yeah, that confidence is real and it's genuine and it's authentic. And if I listen, no one had been more humbled than myself by the market, right? So anyway, Noodle, good luck, my brother. All right, what else are we looking at here today? It was a fun session. I'm so glad that you guys were calling upon head snack over there. Yeah, we got Noodle back, John D. Noodle's back, throwing out that love. You know, a hater's got who was that? What's the name of that pop artist? You know, a hater's gonna hate. You know, and that's it. That's why pop artists are pop artists. They're able to understand pop culture better than anyone. You know, and a hater's gonna hate. I'm gonna have to push that in get that little bit of a clip into our thing here every time the haters begin hating over there. Boom, 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 boom. All right, everyone. Beautiful Monday. We covered a lot. Beautiful Monday. We covered a lot. We're going to go out with our jam. We're going to go out also with our other jam. How do we say that over here? And let's get into a Honey Mood instrumental version. Taylor Swift. That's right, Robert. Each and every one of you are important to me. So, listen, whether about the pi cycle, look, I have no idea. It wasn't created, before the last bull market, right? So was it kind of back tested? Yeah, for sure. That doesn't matter. What matters if it gives us a good signal at the right time. It's just like another checkbox. It's not the signal to use. It's just a little bit of added information to know you're in the right place at the right time. If we get a pie signal right now or in the next couple of weeks and price is below 90,000, 100,000, it's completely wrong. We won't take it. No problem. But we're going to do it together. We're going to do it together. That's what we do. My boy, my brother, Alan. Thank you, Shane, Samuel. Thank you all. Thank you, my brother. May God bless you. Right, Giles. We're gonna do it together. We're gonna do it all week, Giles. We're gonna do it all week. Boom. I said it. There it is. Tomorrow we have a training session. It's gonna be a fire session. I'll tell you about it tomorrow morning. Yep, Rico. It's on the announcements channel in the Discord group. But tomorrow's the training session, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. I don't think so. I think those that exit on a signal here are going to get wrecked. This is a great comment over here. We can never say goodbye. David, I would sit there with my hands up in the air waving back and forth, as my loved one walks away until they boarded the plane. Looks like Cardano's selling off ever since the listing on Coinbase, right? All the best. Thank you so much. Oh, everyone, have a beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you for making mine such. I really, really, really missed you over the weekend. Was looking forward to this. I'll see you all tomorrow. And we'll do it again. Have a beautiful day, everyone. And I'll talk to you soon.